the interview process. How many interviews would you recommend people have before they?
Probably, I think if you can do it quickly, 3 is a great number.
That's what we do. 3.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
We didn't script that, by the way. But I think
we don't script anything. I gave you the conversation note sheet the 10 minutes before we started the conversation.
Yeah, and there's nothing on there about 3 interviews. No, I have clients who do 5 that drive me nuts, and they'll lose candidates in the process. I have ones that do 1, and then they end up hiring the wrong person. I think 3, but you need to sort of be able to do it. If you can keep the process moving and do it within a week to 10 days, 2 weeks maximum, you're going to be fine.
Okay. And if you find someone great, I got told a long time ago, if you find someone amazing, just take them.
No, don't do that.
No. Okay. No. Yeah, that guy's caused me a lot of issues.
Just expedite that process, right? Just expedite it. Try. You can do 2 interviews in 1 day, but don't do that.
Don't.
You've done it, right? It
didn't
several
work times.
out.
No. Yeah. Now that I think back at it, I'm going to send whoever gave me that advice a bill.
Do you know how many times I don't follow my own advice and hire the wrong people? You'd be amazed. We all do it.
Yeah. Human nature. Sometimes we're morons. Yeah. Sometimes we're geniuses. So.
Morons is a good term.
Yeah. So 3 times. And what's the purpose of each interview?
I think every interview has to have the same 3 elements again. I think you need to sell to them. I think you need to delve into something specific. The first meeting needs to be, are you going to get on? Because if you're not going to get on, the whole thing's a waste of time.
Our first meeting at CUB that we have with someone is basically, do we like you? Yeah. Do we get along? Are we going to want to hang out together every day?
Yeah, and that's the number one thing. I think then you're going to have some feelings about some things that might worry you or might impress you, and then the second interview is about that. So you want to hear about the things that maybe you're excited about that they've done, but you also want to hear about some of the things that perhaps you're worried about or that they feel they've done badly. And there still aren't enough interviews talking about where people have stuffed up. People need to talk about that.
So we should be asking, look, where are times that you've done something that didn't work out, that was wrong, that was bad?
And everyone's got a bad role on their resume where they haven't stayed for long, and it's getting into that and being honest about it and understanding that they have the ability to talk about the stuff they haven't done well.
And if they lie and say, no, I'm perfect, you can just stop the interview.
Yeah, well, if they say that, they should never have got to the second one. But yeah.
You can just stop it, save yourself some time.
Yeah.
And then the third interview.
The third one is really you both talking about the future between the two of you and making sure you're aligned. And it's almost a confirmation interview, and you can bring other team members in there. It's difficult as you don't want to bring in too many, but you don't want to bring in too few either. So you've just got to get that right, that mix of them meeting enough people and you having enough opinions to be able to see it from someone else's perspective, but not too many.
So you've sold to a publicly listed company. You've also sold to
a business partner.
Which one's harder?
Business partner is much harder.
Is it really?
Invariably, because if you're selling to a business partner, there is a reason. And typically that reason is not a great reason. It's that you disagree on the way the business could sort of go, or the direction that you want to go, or that someone's had something bad happen in their life and they have to sell, or that you've just fundamentally, the relationship's broken down. It's not usually a great reason. When you're selling to someone else, it's you and hopefully your business partner, or maybe it's just you, but whoever against them, so to speak. When you're selling to a business partner, you're in there every day, you're negotiating every day. There's nothing you don't know. It's a much more emotional situation, and I found that really, really difficult. And I did that last year.
And what were some lessons? Because I know I know a lot of people go through that. Though. A lot of people do sell to their business partners. I guess what are some notes of wisdom you can share that you would encourage others to learn from what you did?
Look, I know a few other people who've done the same. I think as difficult as it is you've got to really, I guess it's a bit like a divorce. You've got to behave quite, because the kids are the staff, right? And if they see you fighting, so to speak, it's going to impact the actual business that you're selling as well. I think you both got to be grown up about it. I think you've got to use advisors to do the most of it rather than doing it yourself. It's too emotional to do yourselves. You probably, one of you needs to remove themselves from the business, or you just need to work in different locations. Those are the things I would say that are difficult. But again, once it's done, it is good for everybody. And I think you've really got to focus on a win-win. I mean, everyone always talks about the win-win, but in that scenario, you will have had some level of friendship as well. You need to have some sort of win-win, and you need to be very clear with each other about what you feel you're both getting.
And then when new staff members are coming in, there's all these stock options, equity plays, and all this type of stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
I think.
What are the different options?
In just normal businesses, you mean?
Yeah.
Look, again, we deal with this a lot now with our new model. I think people are smarter about that now. I think a lot of people want that, and that's good. I think working for a startup is a very different kettle of fish to working for a large organization, but scale-ups are offering that as well, particularly ones who've had private equity come in. So I think there are people that make careers out of that, and they're the ones who go into the private equity and they make a career out of it. They're smart. They are the ones that are just off being entrepreneurial. They haven't quite got whatever it is that makes you take that final step.
It's the risk.
They just haven't got that.
Yeah.
But they can still do well in that model. So there's a lot of people that are, and they're usually very high quality people, but they'll never go out on their own. So that's good for them.
What do you mean? So people that are just under the entrepreneurial, they're just as, I guess, clever, but maybe they're a bit more risk averse.
Yeah.
They're the ones that you'd give a bit of equity to.
They're the entrepreneurial traits. They've got a lot of them, but not all of them.
And you would recommend giving them a piece of pie?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm doing that with all of my staff in my new business because I think it also builds a sense of togetherness, not just a sense of ownership, but a sense of togetherness.
And how does it work? What happens if you fire them or they leave?
Well, there's a million different ones, and there's plenty of lawyers in our club membership who can help you create those plans. But I mean, you can structure them any way you want.
Okay.
Most of them, if you leave, you lose it.
Yes.
Look, if it's
which makes sense.
Which makes sense. If it's a listed business, then that's different. Obviously, again, you have vesting periods and so forth, and there's a huge complexity in that.
A vesting period is the period of which, if you join a business, the business may say, look, you're going to have a 2% equity stake, but you have a 5-year vesting period.
Yep.
So you have to stay at the company for 5 years, and then you have that.
Or they vest over time throughout those 5 years.
Or it goes up to the full amount.
Absolutely.
Over the 5 years. Brilliant. And so is that a popular thing that's happening at the moment?
Yeah, it is. It's big. ESOP, as they call them, employee share option plans are becoming...
What's it called?
ESOP, employee share option. It's becoming very common.
And from your people so obviously you've got a lot of talent. You speak to a lot of talent as well as the business, but you speak to a lot of talent. Are a lot of the talent coming to you and saying, "Hey, I want to find a company that is willing to offer me some sort of ESOP."
There's a whole section of people who will only work for companies who do now. Yeah, and they're looking for that. And there are so many that offer it as well.
Mostly startups.
Mostly startups, but the larger scale-ups, tech businesses offer it a lot. I mean, it's very popular in the US. It's really grown here in the last year. I see it in the clients that we deal with in probably 80% of our clients now. I mean, we have a very specific client base, but it's incredibly popular.